The shuttle landed slowly on the red sand of planet Zarn. A thin cloud of dust rose in the air. The sky above was dark blue, and two small suns hung low near the horizon. The air was warm, dry, and quiet. Captain Ray stepped out first, scanning the area with her helmet visor. Her team followed. Mason, the young pilot, Dr. Helna, the science officer, Taro, the engineer, and Briggs, the security guard. They had come with one goal: to make peace with the alien race known as the Zarnians. This was the first human visit to their world. Command believed the Zarnians might be ready to join the Galactic Council. But there were rumors. Old stories of what happened to the last explorers who came here many years ago. They never returned. The humans walked carefully toward a large stone structure. It looked like a temple or an old palace, with tall, curved towers and glowing blue lines that ran along the walls. Two Zarnian guards waited at the gate. They were tall, with dark skin like stone, and glowing eyes. Their long arms ended in three-fingered hands. They did not smile. One of them spoke in clear English. "You are welcome, but you must follow the law." Captain Ray nodded. "We understand. We come in peace." The humans were led inside. The walls had carvings of stars, creatures, and battles. Strange music played in the background, slow and deep like a heartbeat. The Zarnian leader, Lord Tren, stood on a raised platform. His body was covered in silver armor. He spoke slowly. "You are here to speak peace, you may speak, but no one must touch what is sacred." Everyone bowed. No one asked what that meant. They were guests, and they had to be careful. After the meeting, the humans were taken to a garden behind the palace. There were tall, thin trees with glowing leaves, and small pools of water that shimmered with soft light. That's where Mason saw her. She was sitting alone near a tree. Her skin was a light shade of blue, her hair long and silver. Her eyes were large and green. She looked about Mason's age. She wasn't dressed like the others. No armor, no crown. Just simple clothes. She looked curious. She saw Mason and smiled. He looked around. No one seemed to notice her. He walked closer. "Hello," he said. She tilted her head. "You are human." "Yes," Mason said. "What's your name?" "I am called Lyra," she replied. "Why are you here?" "To make peace, to understand your people." She smiled again. "I think you are kind." There was a moment of silence. Then, without thinking, Mason stepped forward and gently touched her hand. Her smile disappeared. At that moment, the ground seemed to shake. A loud horn blasted from the palace tower. Mason jumped back. Lyra pulled her hand away quickly, her eyes wide with fear. All the guards nearby turned. Red lights blinked from their helmets. The soft music stopped. Voices shouted in Zarnian tongue. The humans stood frozen. Captain Ray looked at Mason in horror. "What did you do?" Mason stepped back, confused. I didn't mean... I only touched her hand." 4 guards rushed forward and grabbed Mason by the arms. He didn't fight. He was too shocked. Lyra screamed, "No, it was not his fault," but no one listened. Lord Tren appeared again. His voice thundered through the garden. "He has broken the sacred law." Captain Ray stepped forward. "Please, it was a mistake. He didn't know." But Tren raised his hand. "No, human may touch the chosen. The punishment is death." The human crew was pushed back by guards. Mason was dragged toward the temple. His eyes met Lyra's one last time before he disappeared inside the dark halls. Captain Ray shouted, "We need to talk! This is not justice!" Lord Tren looked at her coldly. "You came in peace, but you broke it." Suddenly, the sky above darkened. A strange hum filled the air. Far off in the desert, a storm of dust began to rise, but it wasn't natural. It moved in a perfect circle. Something ancient was waking. And deep inside the temple, Mason was locked in a stone cell. He sat alone, heart racing. wondering if this was how his story would end, not in battle, not in glory, but for a single innocent touch. And outside, the others realized something even worse. They were not allowed to leave anymore. Mason sat in the cold stone cell. The walls around him were smooth and silent. There was no light, no window, only a dim blue glow from the floor. His hands were tied and his heart was beating fast. He kept thinking about that moment, when he touched Lyra's hand. He didn't mean any harm. He just wanted to be kind. But now, they wanted to kill him for it. Outside, Captain Ray was arguing with the guards. "We demand to speak to your leader again," she said. One guard pointed a sharp weapon at her. "You are not in command here." Taro, the engineer, looked around and whispered to Briggs, "This place is a trap." "They never wanted peace," Briggs replied. "Maybe, or maybe they just wanted to see if we could follow rules. And we failed." Dr. Helna was trying to send a message to the ship orbiting above the planet. "Signal is jammed," she said. "They're blocking all communication." Suddenly, Lyra appeared near them. She looked afraid and out of breath. "I want to help," she said. Mason didn't break the law, he didn't know. Captain Ray looked at her. "Then speak to your people, tell them it was an accident." "They won't listen to me," Lyra said. "I am different. I'm not like the others." "What do you mean?" Dr. Helna asked. Lyra looked down. "I was not born here, I was created. A mix of Zarnian and something else." "Human?" Captain Ray asked. Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes. Long ago your kind came here. One of them loved a Zarnian. I am the result, but my blood is forbidden." Everyone went silent. The truth was even stranger than they expected. Lyra continued, "That's why touching me is death. I'm the reminder of a history they want to erase." Briggs cursed under his breath. "So Mason is being punished for their shame." Lyra looked back toward the temple. "They plan to execute him at sunrise, in the center of the city, in front of all the people." Captain Ray clenched her fists. "We can't let that happen. We'll find a way to stop it." "But how?" Helna asked. "They're stronger, faster, and we're surrounded." Lyra's eyes lit up. "There is someone, an old one. He lives in the forgotten tunnels under the city. He knows the true laws of Zarn." "Then take us to him," Ray said quickly. Lyra nodded. "Follow me. But we must not be seen." Meanwhile, inside the temple, Mason was brought to a dark hall. Fires burned on both sides. At the end of the hall stood 3 elders. Lord Tren stood beside them. Mason was forced to his knees. "You touched the sacred," one elder said. "I didn't know," Mason replied. "I didn't mean any harm. Intent does not matter," Tren said coldly. "You touched what was not yours. You brought human filth to our blood again." Mason looked up. "So this is about the past? Not just about me?" Tren's face remained hard. "Your kind betrayed us once. You made promises, then broke them. Our people suffered. The law was made to stop history from repeating." "And killing me will fix it?" Mason asked. "No," Tren replied, "but it will remind our people never to trust your kind again." At the same time, Lyra led the crew through narrow alleys and behind stone walls. They reached an old gate, covered in vines. Behind it was a stairway that led down into the dark. They entered with flashlights. The air was damp and cold. "This place hasn't been touched in years," Taro whispered. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed from the shadows. "Who dares enter the Hall of Truth?" An old Zarnian stepped forward. He had no armor, only a robe made of silver cloth. His eyes were calm but sharp. "I am Elder Vaughn," he said, "and you bring trouble." Captain Ray stepped forward. "We need your help. They're going to execute one of us for touching Lyra." Vaughn looked at Lyra and frowned. "I told them. One day, her blood would awaken the past. You know the truth," Helna said. "Then help us stop this madness." Vaughn sighed. "If I speak, they may kill me too, but silence is worse." The truth must return. He turned and walked deeper into the tunnel. There is something you must see, he said. Something hidden for many years. Back in the city above, the people gathered in the main square. A stone platform stood at the center. Torches were lit. Drums began to beat slowly. Mason was brought out in chains. The crowd watched silently. A sharp blade glowed in red firelight. Lord Tren raised his hand. "Let this be a lesson," he said loudly. "No outsider may touch what is pure." But far below in the darkness, the humans and Elder Vaughn were about to discover something that could change everything. Something powerful. Something that might be the only way to stop the execution. The tunnel air was cold and heavy. Each step echoed as Captain Ray, Lyra, and the team followed Elder Vaughn deeper underground. Strange symbols lit up along the walls as they passed. The light came from the stones themselves, soft and blue, like moonlight. Taro looked around, whispering, "This place is older than anything I've seen." Vaughn nodded. This tunnel was built during the First Peace, before the war between humans and Zarnians. Captain Ray asked, "Why was it hidden?" "Because the truth is dangerous," Vaughn said. "And those in power prefer lies." They reached a large stone door. Vaughn placed his hand on a panel. The door rumbled open slowly, dust falling like snow. Inside was a large room filled with ancient machines, old control panels, and holographic walls showing stars and maps. In the center of the room stood a tall metal device covered with cloth. Vaughn slowly removed the cover. Everyone stared. It was a pod, black, sleek, and very human in design. "That's Earth tech," Helena gasped. "Yes," Vaughn said. "A human once came here long ago. His name was Commander Aaron Holt. He led a mission just like yours. He didn't want war. He wanted peace, and he loved a Zarnian woman. Their child was Lyra's ancestor." Lyra stepped back in shock. "You never told me this." "I couldn't," Vaughn said softly. "If the Council knew your blood held human DNA, they would have killed you as a baby." Captain Ray walked around the pod. "What is this machine?" "A memory archive," Vaughn replied. "It holds the last words of Commander Holt, proof that it was not the humans who broke the peace." He pressed a button. The pod hummed, and a hologram appeared. A man with a tired face and short beard looked out at them. "If anyone hears this." "I failed," the man said. "The Zarnian leaders feared change. They turned on us. My team was destroyed, but I loved one of them. She was worth everything." The message ended with coordinates and a line of code. Helena copied it quickly. "This code can unlock the city's defense system. It's ancient, but powerful." Elder Vaughn nodded. "Use it wisely. It may be the only thing that can stop them." "Captain," Ray looked at her team. "Then we need to move, fast." Up above, the crowd in the city square had grown. The suns were rising slowly, and the sky turned red. Mason stood on the platform, chained and tired. His eyes searched the crowd for any sign of his team, but saw nothing. The drums grew louder. Fire surrounded the execution stage. The blade was ready. Lord Tren stepped forward, holding a staff made of dark stone. "This is justice," he said. "This is how peace survives." The crowd remained silent. Fear filled their eyes. No one dared speak. Back in the tunnels, the crew was running. "This path leads to an old security post under the temple," Vaughn said. "From there you can access the system." They reached a steel door. Taro used the code. The door clicked open. Inside was an old control room, dusty and dark. Screens flickered to life. Helena sat down and typed fast. "I'm in. The city's old defense grid is still active. They hid it beneath the temple." "Can we use it to stop the execution?" Ray asked. "Yes. We just need to scare them. Show the truth," Helena said. She pressed one final button. Suddenly, across the square, every torch blew out. The drums stopped. Above the stage, a massive blue light formed in the sky. The hologram of Commander Holt appeared, bigger than any building. His voice echoed through the city. Zarnians, I am Commander Aaron Holt. I came here in peace. I was betrayed, but I loved one of your own. Our child is proof that we are not enemies. Gasps filled the crowd. Whispers spread quickly. Lyra stepped onto the platform beside Mason. I am that child's descendant, she said, and I choose peace. Lord Tren shouted, lies, old lies. But then the ground shook. Stone pillars rose from under the square, glowing with blue light. Giant machines emerged, standing guard beside Mason and Lyra. Captain Ray stepped out with the rest of the crew. These machines will not hurt you, she said. But they will protect us, and they will reveal the truth. The crowd stared silent. Mason looked at Lyra, then down at his unchained hands. I guess I touched more than just your hand, he said with a smile. She smiled back, a tear in her eye. And now you've touched history. The city square was still and quiet. The giant machines stood like statues, glowing softly. The people didn't move. They stared at Lyra, standing tall beside Mason. She was no longer just a girl. She was the key to a secret their leaders had tried to hide for years. Lord Tren's face was dark with anger. Shut it down, he shouted. Destroy the machines. But the old machines didn't move for him. They only protected Lyra. And Mason, Captain Ray, stepped forward. The truth is out. You can't stop it. Tren raised his weapon. She is not one of us. She is a mistake, a danger. Elder Vaughn stepped up from the crowd. His voice was calm but strong. No, Tren. You are the danger. You kept us in fear, you fed us lies, and you killed those who asked questions. The crowd gasped again. One by one, Zarnian citizens began to step forward. Some dropped their weapons. Others simply stood beside Vaughn and the humans. A change was starting, but Tren wasn't done. You want war? He shouted. Then I will give you war. He raised his hand and a strange pulse shot into the sky. A signal. Captain Ray's visor beeped. Taro checked his scanner. He's calling in the enforcers. Combat drones from the old wars. Hundreds of them. Can the machines fight them? Mason asked. Helena looked at the control screen. They can defend for a short time, but if Tren takes control, we'll all die. Lyra stepped back, thinking fast. There's one last option. What is it? Ray asked. There's a central mind crystal, Lyra said. It powers all the machines in the city. If we connect it to your human systems, we might override Tren's control signal. Taro looked at her. That's risky. If we fail, the whole defense system could shut down. But if we don't try, Lyra said, Tren will destroy us all. Ray nodded. Let's move. They ran through back streets and tunnels while the square remained tense. People were arguing. Some shouted for freedom. Others still feared change. The sky above turned darker, clouds forming in strange patterns. The enforcers were coming. The team reached the chamber of the mind crystal. It was hidden under the Baoi Palace, a massive sphere of glowing energy floating in the air. Thin beams of light danced around it. Lyra placed her hand on the control stone. It's reacting to me. Helena connected a small device to the system. I'm linking it to our tech. The crystal flashed red. Warning signs lit up. Tren is trying to block us, Taro shouted. The room shook as the first enforcer drones flew into the city. Outside, people screamed. The machines guarding the square began firing, not to kill, but to hold back the enemy drones. It was chaos. Lyra's face was tense. I need help. I can't do this alone. Mason stepped beside her. You're not alone. He placed his hand over hers. The crystal flared, bright and white. A sudden wave of power hit the city. The enforcer drones froze mid-air. Their red lights turned blue, then shut off. The crowd in the square looked up in shock. In the chamber, the crystal became calm again, peaceful. Lyra opened her eyes, breathing hard. We did it. Back in the square, Lord Tren stood frozen. His army had failed. His secrets were revealed. His power was gone. Elder Vaughn walked up to him. Your time is over, Tren. Let truth lead now. Tren dropped his staff. He didn't speak. He just stared at the ground and walked away. The people slowly cheered. Captain Ray, Mason, and the others returned to the square. The crowd moved. Aside for them. Lyra walked beside Mason, now no longer just a mystery girl but a symbol of unity. A Zarnian elder approached them. Your actions today saved not just a human life but our future. You are welcome here as friends. Mason smiled. Let's try peace, this time for real. Captain Ray nodded. But keep one thing in mind. Humans never forget betrayal, and we don't run from a fight. The elder smiled. Neither do we. That night, the stars above Zarn were calm again. Fires were gone. The machines rested. And for the first time in years, the people of Zarn looked up with hope. But deep in the shadows of the mountains beyond the city, someone was watching. Figure in black armor. A voice on a radio whispered, "They've awakened the old machines and the hybrid girl survived. Phase 2 begins now." The next morning on planet Zarn was quiet. Too quiet. The people were repairing the square, cleaning broken stones and talking in small groups. There were no more guards. The machines stood silently, now under human Zarnian control. Peace had returned, for now. Captain Ray stood on the palace balcony scanning the horizon with her visor. "We did it," Mason said behind her. "No," she replied. "We bought time, that's all." Mason looked confused. "You think they'll come back?" Ray nodded. Someone or something was helping Tren. Those enforcer drones were not local tech. They were updated, far too advanced for a broken, old city. Just then, Helena came running from the command room. "Captain, we have a problem," she said, catching her breath. "What is it?" "We picked up a new signal. From space. A stealth ship entered orbit last night. No ID. No response." "Show me," Ray said. Helena tapped her datapad. A hologram appeared. The ship was black, long, and shaped like a claw. It had no markings, no flags. Only silence. Lyra joined them. Her eyes widened at the sight. "I've seen that symbol before," she whispered. "In old books, in forgotten ruins. They're called the Varrock." "Who are they?" Ray asked. "Not Zarnian," Lyra replied. "Not human. Something else. They came from the stars a long time ago. They believe in control, not freedom." Helena frowned. "Then why are they here now?" "Because they know the truth woke up," Mason said. "And they don't like it." High above the planet in the black ship, a figure stood in a dark room. He wore black armor with red lights. His face was hidden behind a metal mask. His voice was deep and cold. "The hybrid lives," he said into a comm device. "And the humans have activated the mind crystal. We can't allow this balance to shift," a voice replied. "Proceed to ground strike?" "No. Not yet," the man said. "Send the shadow beast. Let them feel fear again. Then we take the girl." On the surface, alarms rang across the palace. Taro shouted, "Something is entering the atmosphere, fast." "It's not a ship," Helena said. "It's alive." A black object smashed into the ground outside the city wall. Dust and fire shot into the sky. The people screamed and ran. Captain Ray grabbed her rifle. "Squad, move out!" Mason, Lyra, Briggs, and Taro followed her toward the wall. They reached the crater in minutes. Smoke filled the air. The ground shook. Then it stepped out. The creature was tall and at least 10 feet, with black skin that shimmered like metal. Its mouth had no lips, only rows of sharp teeth. Red eyes glowed like fire. Its arms were long, ending in sharp claws. It let out a deep roar. "What the hell is that?" Briggs shouted. "The shadow beast," Lyra whispered. "A living weapon." The beast charged. Ray fired first. Her pulse rifle lit up the air, but the creature moved fast. Bullets bounced off its skin. Taro threw a grenade. It exploded, but the beast walked through the flames. Helena yelled over the radio. "Fall back. Get to the control tower. We need more firepower." Mason pulled Lyra back as the beast swiped at them. A sharp claw tore through the wall behind them. "We need a plan," Mason shouted. "I have one," Lyra said. We take it to the temple. The temple? Ray asked. It's built on energy lines, Lyra said. The ancient machines there can trap it, if I activate them. Ray nodded. Then run. We'll cover you. The chase through the city began. Lyra ran fast, dodging debris and climbing broken steps. The beast followed, roaring, smashing walls and roofs. The people hid in fear as the monster passed. Captain Ray and her team fired, from rooftops, slowing it down, but not stopping it. At last, Lyra reached the old temple. She jumped onto the platform and placed her hand on the central stone. The floor lit up. Old machines came alive. Blue light circled the room. The beast entered. Lyra closed her eyes. Now, the floor opened. Chains of pure energy shot out and wrapped around the creature. It screamed and fought, but the trap held strong. Then silence. The beast was frozen, stuck in the air like a statue. Mason walked up beside her, panting. That was too close. But above, on the black ship, the masked man watched. She's stronger than we thought, he said. Prepare for full invasion, and this time bring the harvesters. The sky over planet Zarn turned dark again, not from clouds but from the arrival of many black ships, dozens, hundreds. Each one shaped like claws, silent and deadly. Inside the palace command room, Captain Ray, Lyra, Helena, and the others watched the sky fill with enemy ships. The Varric invasion had begun. They're not just here for war, Helena said, checking the scans. They're deploying harvesters. They're digging straight into the planet. What are they harvesting? Mason asked. Energy, Lyra said. They feed off planets. Zarn's core is rich in power, old power. If they drain it, the planet dies. Captain Ray clenched her fists. And they'll take everything with it. Cities, machines, people. Taro looked up from his console. They're jamming our signals. We can't call for help. Ray nodded. Then we don't wait for help. We become the storm. In the Arbai, outer city, giant machines landed with heavy thuds. The Varric soldiers walked like shadows, with silver weapons and glowing red armor. They shot anything that moved. Small Zarnian villages were burning. People ran toward the city walls, hoping for safety, but the harvesters were digging fast. The ground trembled. Blue light shot from their drills into the sky. At the same time, a voice spoke across the city, cold, sharp, and not human. Surrender the hybrid girl, or your world will be consumed. The people looked at each other. Fear returned to their hearts. Some whispered, give her to them, save the rest of us. Lyra stood before the crowd on the temple steps. I won't run, she said. But I also won't let them take this world. My blood may be part human, but my heart is Zarnian. The machines behind her lit up. And so are these ancient guardians. They listen to me, and they will fight. Inside the palace, Ray planned quickly. Taro and Helena, get the control signal booster online. I want every machine in this city listening to Lyra. On it, Helena said. Mason, you're with me, Ray added. We're going to hit their command ship. Mason raised an eyebrow. The big one? The big one, she said. Cut off the head. Slow the invasion. As night fell, the battle began. Zarnian machines, now fully activated, marched beside human soldiers. The sky was full of drones, lasers, and fire. Buildings shook. The ground cracked, but the people were no longer running. They were fighting. Lyra stood in the temple, her hands on the control stone. Her mind linked to every old war machine on the planet. Protect the people, she said. And strike hard, all across the battlefield. Giant metal guardians followed her orders. Meanwhile, Captain Ray and Mason flew in a stolen Varric scout ship. The black command ship loomed ahead like a floating mountain. Its surface rippled like water, covered in moving armor. This place gives me chills, Mason muttered. We just need to reach their bridge, Ray said. Get to the core, plant the charge, and get out. They landed on a side platform and entered through a maintenance hatch. The inside of the ship was cold, dark, and silent. Too silent. As they moved through the halls, Ray stopped. Something's wrong. No guards? A voice answered from the shadows. That's because I was waiting for you. The masked Varak leader stepped forward. Red lights glowed on his armor. His voice was the same one from the warning. You're brave, he said to Ray, but foolish. Mason pulled out his blaster. Let's make it worth it then. The Varak leader moved fast, on faster than anyone Mason had seen. In 1 second, he knocked the weapon away. In another, he grabbed Mason by the throat. Ray threw a pulse bomb. It exploded between them. Mason rolled away, coughing. You can't stop what's coming, the Varak leader said. Your fire is small, our hunger is endless. But then, the ship shook. Alarms rang. The Varak leader turned. What? Ray grinned. That's our backup. Lyra's machines had made it to the base of the command ship. They were climbing its sides, tearing into the engines. I told you, Ray said. We are the storm. She tackled the leader, shoving him into a power core. Sparks flew. He screamed. Mason grabbed the charge. Time to go. They ran back to the scout ship and launched. Behind them, the command ship exploded in, the sky and fire and metal raining down. On the ground, the enemy soldiers stopped. Their red lights blinked, then turned off. The remaining Varak ships broke formation and left orbit. The people of Zarn cheered. The invasion was over. For now. Later in the quiet temple, Lyra stood beside Mason and Ray. This was only the beginning, she said. The Varak will return. And when they do, Mason replied, they'll find us ready. Captain Ray nodded. Because humans don't forget. And we don't forgive. 2 weeks passed since the Sky War. Zarn was quiet now, but not calm. Smoke still rose from broken buildings. Giant machines stood across the land like sleeping giants. People were rebuilding and remembering. Inside the temple, Lyra sat alone. Her hand rested on the crystal stone. Her eyes were closed, but her mind was busy. She saw memories that were not her own. Memories stored inside the old machines. Wars, peace, secrets, and something else. A message. Captain Ray walked in, her boots echoing. You've been here for hours. Lyra opened her eyes slowly. The machines are whispering. What are they saying? They're showing me what I am. Ray sat beside her. Go on. Lyra spoke softly. I was born on Zarn, but not the usual way. My mother was Zarnian, my father, human, a soldier from Earth. He crashed here during a secret mission. The Varak found him, but he survived. He met my mother while hiding in the crystal caves. They fell in love? Ray asked. Yes, but the Varak were watching. They didn't like the idea of Zarnians and humans joining together. It meant unity. And unity is danger for them. Ray nodded. Because they win by keeping others divided. Lyra continued. When I was born, I was special. I could connect with both sides, the ancient machines and human tech. My blood is the key. At the same time, Mason and Taro worked deep in the city lab. Helna had rebuilt part of the data core using Earth tech. I found something strange, Helna said. Look at this. A map appeared on the screen. It showed dozens of stars, some marked red, others blue. These red stars, she said, are already dead. The Varak drained them. But these blue ones, they're still alive. Mason leaned closer. What's that symbol next to the farthest star? Helna looked serious. Earth. Mason's jaw tightened. They're heading to Earth next. Captain Ray gathered everyone in the war room. We stopped the first invasion, she said. But the Varak are regrouping. And now we know their true goal. To harvest Earth, Helna added. Ray looked around. We can't let that happen. Elder Vaughn stepped forward. But Earth is far. Even with your fastest ships, it may be too late. Taro stood. Maybe not. The old portal, system under the city, the one we thought was broken, it might still work. It was built long ago by the Makers, A race older than the Varric. Helena nodded. If we power it using Lyra's connection, we might open a gateway to Earth. They moved fast. The portal chamber was deep underground, covered in dust and stone. The arch was huge, carved with symbols in both human and alien language. Lyra stepped forward. She touched the center stone. The room lit up, gold, blue, and white. A hum filled the air. The floor shook. The arch glowed like a sun. Mason stared in awe. That's a doorway through space. To my father's world, Lyra whispered. But just as the portal opened, an alarm beeped. Something's coming, Helena said. From inside the portal, a blast of dark energy shot through, a Varric drone. It scanned the room, then self-destructed. Ray shouted, "They know. They've been using the portals too." Lyra stepped back, shaken. "We have to move now." In. The final hours before departure, people said goodbye. Captain Ray gave her final orders to the Zarnian guards. "You must protect this planet while we're gone." Elder Vaughn placed his hand on Lyra's shoulder. "You carry two bloodlines. You are the bridge between stars. Never forget who you are." Mason packed his gear. He looked at Lyra. "You don't have to go," he said softly. Lyra smiled. "I do have to. Earth is half of me, and I won't let it burn." They stepped through the portal together. Ray, Mason, Lyra, Taro, Helena, and Briggs. The light swallowed them, then silence, and far above in a ship hidden in a red nebula, the Varric commander watched. "The hybrid moves toward Earth," he said. "She will bring hope, but we will bring fire." He turned to his crew. "Send the message. Begin Operation Eclipse." The portal opened above a snow-covered mountain, on Earth. Bright light flashed and 6 figures stepped out. Cold wind hit their faces. Captain Ray looked around. "We made it." Lyra stood quietly. The sky above was peaceful, but she could feel it. The Varric were already here. Mason pulled out a small scanner. "There's a strange signal, west, near an old military base." Taro checked his wristpad. "That base was closed 10 years ago." "Then why is it active?" Helena asked. Ray gave the order. "We check it out. Now." The team traveled in a stolen truck. The road was quiet. Too quiet. They reached the base by nightfall. The fence was torn. Inside, they found signs of a fight. Old blood, broken weapons, and black. "Marks on walls. Someone tried to stop them," Mason said. Suddenly, a voice came from the shadows. "Drop your weapons." Dozens of Earth soldiers stepped out, pointing guns. Captain Ray raised her hands. "We're not the enemy." A tall woman in military armor stepped forward. Her badge said, "Colonel Hayes." She looked at Lyra. "You're the hybrid, aren't you?" Lyra nodded. Hayes lowered her weapon. "Then come with me. The world has been waiting for you." Inside the base command room, the truth was revealed. Colonel Hayes showed them Earth's situation. Satellite images showed Varric ships landing across the planet, hidden in deserts, oceans, even inside volcanoes. "They've been here for months," Hayes said, "feeding slowly, hiding. Now they're ready to strike." Helena asked, "Why didn't anyone fight back?" "We tried," Hayes replied, "but our weapons are weak against their tech. Our cities are next. We need something more." Lyra stepped forward. "You need me." That night, in a secret lab under the base, Lyra connected with Earth's defense systems, missiles, satellites, hidden drones. She reached into their codes, like touching strings in the air. Her hybrid blood unlocked new power. Taro and Helena used Zarnian tech to upgrade the defenses. Captain Ray trained Earth soldiers in Zarnian tactics. Mason and Briggs built a new command center, fast, strong, and smart. Everyone worked without sleep, because the next morning Gwon was the final battle. The Varric didn't wait. They attacked at sunrise. From the oceans, the skies, and the ground, black ships rose like monsters. Lasers burned the clouds. People screamed. Cities fell, but Earth did not fall alone. Above New York, Zarnian war machines dropped from human cargo planes. Above Tokyo, satellite weapons activated, now controlled by Lyra. In the sky over London, Earth fighters flew with Zarnian drones side by side. Captain Ray led the charge in the air. Mason and Briggs protected civilians on the ground. Taro and Helna hacked into Varric systems, jamming their signals. And in a secret tower in the mountains, Lyra sat inside the final control chamber. She reached into both worlds, Zarnian machines and Earth technology, and linked them all. A network of resistance was born. "We fight as one," she whispered. The Varric commander appeared in a massive ship above Earth. His voice echoed across the planet. "You delay the end, but you cannot stop it." But Lyra answered, "You wanted to erase us, you made us stronger instead." The final wave came. Varric harvesters drilled into Earth's crust, but Lyra sent all machines to stop them. The battle lasted hours. Cities burned, ships crashed, but humans would not. Break the Zarnian machines, guys would not stop. And Lyra never gave up. At last, the Varric flagship was hit. Ray's final strike pierced its core. It fell from the sky like a dying star. The remaining Varric ships retreated into deep space. Earth was scarred, but saved. After the battle, people around the world came out of shelters. They looked up at the sky. They saw Zarnian machines still guarding them, and they cheered. Weeks later, Earth and Zarn signed a new alliance. Lyra stood before the United Nations. Her voice was strong. "I was born between two worlds, but I belong to both. Today we begin a future where no race will stand alone, where humans stand tall in the stars." Applause filled the chamber. Captain Ray stood at the back, smiling. Mason looked at her. "Do you think we're done?" Ray shook her head. "No, we're just getting started."